What's up, you guys? SlimXTeamSymmetry here to bring you guys a new video today, and I'm here to bring you guys a video on the effectiveness of hand traps for this upcoming format. I feel that this is going to be like a staple on my channel, no pun intended, that this is going to be a video series that I do pretty much at the start of every format and during the format. I feel that hand traps have really come to, find their place, define their place, and stay in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Pretty much forever. I feel that ever since their release, they've had a different kind of effect during every format, and they've done a bunch of good and a bunch of bad for the game in the process. One thing I'll say is that probably the most standout hand trap has definitely been Max C. Max C and Effect Veiler are definitely the two hand traps that I want to talk about the most, but before I do, I want to get into these other kind of hand traps before I talk about Max C and Effect Veiler, since they are the main part of this video. But I want to talk about other options because we're in a format where you can play seriously whatever the hell you want. Like, honestly, in this game, you can play whatever you want, whenever you want, but if you're trying to be competitive or not, like myself, that now that I'm part of a team, I feel that I have to, dust off some of my old skills and, learn to play a little more serious. So, being able to realize the versatility of cards like Gores and Tragodia and Swift Scarecrow in different matches and in different decks is really, really important. I'd say cards like Gores and Tragodia are pretty much reserved for decks like Chaos Agents, heavy monster decks like Heretics, and they're not really seen in decks like Geargia. They're not seen in decks like sometimes Water will run Gores. It's an interesting card. Sometimes they run it, sometimes they don't. It depends. Like in the beginning, this card was just really good. Gores is such a power card that if you run a deck that doesn't have a lot of back row, like I don't see why Gores would be such a bad card, because you bring it out, you have a token, and you're able to get around problematic cards, which is really nice. Tragodia is another card that I like. I like this card in decks that usually keep a relatively big hand that play a little slower. So this card is really good. Like in Chaos Agents, these two cards are really like all stars, because sometimes, like, even with a Agent of Mystery Earth, having that to search a Venus and then being able to follow up with a Tragodia or a Card Trooper and then be able to follow up with a Tragodia like Chaos Dragons would is really great. That's where these two cards really shine. And I feel that in heavy monster decks, heavy combo based decks that that require like one monster at a time, they make it so that you can run these cards. These cards are just really good. I don't feel a lot of the main decks will run them. Like I said, I don't know. Maybe Water does run Gores. If you are running Gores in your Water deck, please comment below. If you're running Trag, please let me know. I know in the beginning these cards were ran for a reason, but now that the format is starting to, the format has started. It's starting to come together. We're starting to see what's being used. Decks like Geargia, decks like Inzectors, decks like that are not really running these cards. These cards are really good, but they're more of like powerhouses, and they're there as like extra monster bait so that they can get around problematic cards. So these cards, while they are really good, are not used in every deck, but I know that decks outside of the norm do use them. And decks like Chaos Agents, decks like Chaos Dragon, decks like Heretics can really run these cards and really use them quite nicely. This card is also really good in Hunters because of Thunder Seahorse. Being able to search another two cards gives this card an extra 1200 boost, so your hand's usually relatively big. It's also not bad in Goldfish Gadgets because you're constantly searching through Geargian X and through the gadgets, so you're constantly retaining a hand. So Tragodia is just like a powerhouse, and its ability to copy levels is huge. Being able to copy level 4s and then XYZ is really good. So these cards will always have their place in the game. But this format, I don't know how effective they will be. I want to leave this open in the comments. If you feel these cards are effective, please let me know. Other cards I want to talk about real quick: cards like Gemini Elf and cards like Puppet Plant. I'm not going to take too long on these cards. Gemini Imps is simply for Dark World. It's really not for anything else. Like, it's kind of stupid. This card is literally for, like, Dark World dealings. This card was for card destruction. This card is for, any effect that the Dark Worlds have. You just negate it, you draw a card. It's really good. I don't know how effective Dark Worlds are going to be this format. I think they're actually going to be a really good deck. I don't know if people are going to play Gemini Imps again, but this card's pretty good. So it is a versatile card, depending on if you play against a lot of Dark World. Puppet Plant had only like 2 times it really shined. The first time is when Samurais were all the rage with 3 gateways. Mirror Match was great. Stealing Sheens, doing crazy combos was really good. So Puppet Plant is a really cool card. Also against Spellbooks, it's not half bad. I guess the trick was like at Nationals was Puppet Plant. One of the spellcasters attributed for Horus and then pretty much win because you lock down all spells. So this card's really cool. I don't know how effective these cards are going to be in this format. I don't think cards like this are going to be that effective. I think Electric Virus will probably see a lot more play than these cards. It always has. It's there for not only dragons and machines, but it's also there for Ophion, because you can electric virus it and then terminus it, so it's really cool. But I don't know how effective cards like this will be. I guess time will tell throughout the format. But if you're running a deck that can utilize these, or you think these cards are going to be good, you know, just let me know. And then cards like Swift Scarecrow. Last format, Swift Scarecrow was like godlike. This was the card that if you had this in Dark Hole, like in the Dragon match, you just pretty much win. You know, Swift Scarecrow, your opponent's big push, Dark Hole them, you know, then try to push back and win. This card is so ridiculous in decks like Water and decks like Dragons. I know some players are still trying to include one copy in the main deck, because sometimes, you know, decks put up big fields. Dragons, people are still playing like Plant Dragons or Blue Eyes Dragons, so they're always trying to put up a big field, so this card's pretty good. Same with Heretics. They usually try to OTK you with the Tums, the Gaia Chargers, and everything. So Scarecrow is not that bad. It's a card that lets you buy time and then battle back. So I think this card will actually be used. I don't know if it'll be a side deck card, a main deck card. It'll all depend. Once again, in the comments below, if your deck does run it, your deck does support it, you know, just let me know. That's what I like about making videos like this. I'll leave them open for discussion so that I can see what people's variety is with cards like this. So I'm going to get on to the two main cards of this video, the two All-Stars, Maxi and Effect Veiler. Both these cards right now are in my side deck. Full three copies of each, believe it or not. I'm not going to reveal what I'm playing yet. It's still in the testing phases. Only my team knows what I'm playing, and I'm testing it right now. If it does do well, I do want to take it to the next regional out here in NorCal. Probably going to be in Reno. You guys can check on the Konami site. I actually just found out about that regional myself, so I'm going to be doing some testing, just like with my team and just with other people, just to see how effective this deck is and if siding the hand traps is the best option. Now, the thing I like about these cards is that these cards pretty much define how your opponent plays Yu-Gi-Oh! And I say that statement because Maxi basically says, okay, you can go off, but I'm going to draw cards, and if I draw one of my outs in the process, you probably are going to lose because you've given me so much advantage. Well, Effect Veiler just says stop. Effect Veiler is literally just like, stop. You want to do something? No. That's what Effect Veiler says. Maxi says, you can go for it, you can gamble if you want, but if you don't have something to stop, like my Trag, my Gores, my any card I could draw on you, my Swiss Scarecrow, you're probably going to lose. So that's where Maxi's really, really cool. Plus, I notice a lot of times Maxi is a scary card because if you cannot put game on the board and you give your opponent like 10 plus cards and they're able to battle back next turn with all those extra cards they've drawn and done nothing, they did nothing to do it. All they did was draw Maxi and just drew a bunch of free cards, and they plussed on you for every single play you kept making, every special summon you kept playing, that they're able to battle back and do it quite effortlessly. I've seen it happen. Those of you that were watching my Dragoonity deck profile, I think someone said it's like 18 cards if you max see that play. It is pretty crazy. There's really no way to, like, you need to pray they don't have Swift Scarecrow, you gotta pray they don't have a way to stop you, but you know, you never really want to take the Maxi challenge if you can't, you know, put game on board or put like a Landois or something on board so they can't do like Gores, Trag, Scarecrow. Like, all those cards still exist in Rogue matches, and like I said, I don't know if people are going to play Trag or Gores, so we'll have to see. Maxi is really important though. You need it for the Water matchup. Water is definitely one of the best decks of the format, and it's really, really good to max see them so that you can draw. Maxing Sphere lets you draw 2, so it's really, really good if they go for Linde. Other things about Maxi that I like it against decks like Geargia, because if they have the ability to go off, they're going to go off. If they flip Geargia armor and then they special accelerator, if you drop Maxi right there, they might stop, they might not, I don't really know. I haven't played enough against Geargia. That'll be coming up soon to see where exactly they stop. Both of these cards are good in that matchup. I think Veiler's actually a little bit better. You know, you can Veiler the armor. It may not seem like the best play, but I mean, it does hinder them, so the ability to stop them and then like blader them or do something to lock them down for a turn or two is really good. So these cards are just really versatile against decks like that. Veiler is subpar against Water. I think Fiendish Chain's a little bit better. You're able to chain it to cards like what is that? Pike, and they can still use their card they send to the graveyard, but they can't get the search. I think that's like the big thing, like Teus and Megalo and Spike, they can all get their searches, really kind of annoying. So cards like Fiendish Chain are also really good. Fiendish Chain is basically like a trap, hand trap in a sense. But these cards I just think are really versatile. Against Fire Fizz, this is like an all-star card. Both of these are actually. Because cards like Wolf Bark, cards like Bear, whatever else they run, Dragon, etc., Tiger King, being able to Veiler them and just tell them to stop is really good. Being able to max see them when they're trying to go off is really good. I think Veiler is more effective because the deck doesn't have to special summon. They can just summon Bear and just sit on Bear all day with a bunch of back rows, so that can be a real problem. Plus, with triple Tenki, they're going to pop like 3 cards, get more searches, get Tensus going, and then pop the Tensus, and then just keep popping your cards basically like every turn. So that's where I can see Maxi not being that good. Depends on what build you play against. If you do stop them outright by Veiling Spirit or Maxing their Spirit plays and whatnot, which with Rooster, it can be really good. So these cards are just really versatile, but in my personal opinion, I feel that right now we don't know what the format is. Right now we don't know what the #1 deck is going to be. Everyone is arguing that it's Fire Fist. People are saying it's Mermail. People are saying Madolches. There's a bunch of decks running around that people say are the best decks. So my best advice is just to kind of gauge the meta, see what people are playing, and then kind of just feel the hand traps. I feel the best ratio for anyone who's trying to figure out if they should run Maxi and Effect Veiler would be 2 copies of each, 2 Maxi, 2 Effect Veiler, just to see how good each of these cards are, because you need them at certain times, and sometimes you want the other cards. So having access to both is really good, because in a sense they kind of say the same thing. They kind of both say stop to your opponent. But Maxi says stop now, or I'm gonna draw. I'm gonna try to draw to an out. I'm gonna draw so much advantage. If you don't put a game on the board, I'm gonna win. Or Effect Veiler just says stop. So that's one thing I really like. Another thing about Effect Veiler, well, it's a level 1 tuner. That may not seem that relevant, but if you're running a synchro-based deck and you need a level 1 tuner, sometimes Effect Veiler isn't that good in the matchup, but sometimes you can make it amazing by just summoning it and synchroing. So these cards are just very versatile in this format, and I feel that whether it be the main deck, whether it be the side deck, these cards will just, always define the format. They'll always put you in a situation where you have to decide, is it in my best interest to go off under Max C? Is it my best interest to give them that many cards? Can I put game on board? Can I put a field up that even if they Swift Scarecrow me, can I still survive? That's where you kind of have to decide as the game goes on. And then there's Effect Veiler that just pretty much takes care of your problem right there. It stops one of their plays, and I think that's really cool. So that's my whole spiel on hand traps. I feel that hand traps will always be important in this game. I feel that this upcoming format with decks like Geargia, decks like Water, decks like Fire Fist, both Maxi and Effect Veiler are going to see a lot of play. Will they be in the main deck? Maybe. Will they be in the side deck? Probably. If they're not in the main deck, they're in the side deck. Like I said, right now, till I play against enough decks, I'm siding triple Maxi and triple Effect Veiler just because I have the extra deck space, and as the format goes on, I'm gonna talk about side decking for this format. Depending on the deck, like you can do what I call a streamlined side deck, where you pick only 5 cards and you run full triplicates of them. I've seen a lot of decks do that. That's what Sam Pedigo did with his Geargias, and I'm wondering if it's going to be a common trend in this format. We'll see as the format continues to establish itself. It's only a couple days into the new format, but I feel that these cards are just really, really important, and that this video could be quite effective for anyone who's either returning to the game, continuing in the game, etc. And it's teaching me a lot, and your comments will teach me a lot. I want to know what your opinions are on hand traps this format. Do you feel they need to be main decked? Do you feel they need to be side decked? Do you feel that it really just depends? Honestly, it always depends, but if you're going to a regional, once you fill out your deck list, that's it. You need to decide, am I going in with main deck hand traps, or am I side decking them in for game 2 and 3? So that's what I'd like to know in the comments below. Are you main decking hand traps? If so, what are your ratios? Do you choose Maxi over Effect Veiler? Do you choose Veiler over Maxi? Or do you choose to run both in multiples? Just comment below and let me know what you guys think. And anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to check out all the stuff in the description. Subscribe to my team, Team Cloud 916. Like them on Facebook, all that stuff. Really great, really help the guys out. We're already at over 1,000 subs. We're just trying to push it, and I'm really going to try to crank out a lot of videos with them in the near future. So hopefully you guys will enjoy the content that we continue to bring you guys. So that's all I got to say. Thumbs it up, and thank you for watching.